And as the thumbnail shows, we are gunning for it. Or are we? It's definitely the latest hop-on point for the Arsenal love-in train. So we're going to have a look to see how that leaves ownership currently, which players are going to be purchased, whether it's actually worth it for everybody. Would it be transfer dependent? So I'll have a look at that. First things first, we're going to have a look at the team news because we've got some 7:30 kickoffs. Then we'll have a look at the fixtures and then a bit of a look in at Arsenal, answer some questions that we had in, and have a look at my plan. Then we'll have a look to see if the Sunderland v Liverpool team news is in. Then we'll have a look at the usual bits and pieces, the leaderboard and the match centres. Pleased to say that I've had a reasonable week for a change, up out of the 70s, which I seem to have been in since New Year, up to 66th, 127 for the week, which was a reasonable score, but not as good as a certain Adam Byron, 173 with his Parma captaincy on Saturday and yesterday. He's up to up to 6th in the overall leaderboard. So well done, Adam. We'll have a look at that. So without further ado, let's have a look at the team sheets for today. So I think it was 4 early kickoffs, 7:30. So Forest v Wolves. Forest go Ortega in goal, Williams, Morato, Milenkovic, Aina, Anderson, Sangare, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, Hutchinson and Luca up front, or Luca I imagine. Wolves, Sarr at the back, Krejci, Bueno, one of the Buenos, Mosquero, another Bueno, Gomez, another Gomez, another Gomez, Mane, Arakadari and Armstrong. Manchester City, Donnarumma, Aït-Nouri and Nunez, fullbacks, Gehi and Diaz. I think Diaz would have been back anyway, but we have seen Kusanov concussion on the weekend in the Liverpool game. Where's that gone now? So O'Reilly, Rodri and Bernardo Silva in the middle, Semenyo and Foden flanking Haaland. For Fulham, Leno, Sessegnon, Bassi, Anderson, Tete, Berger, Iwobi, Chukwueze, Wilson, Smith Rowe and Jimenez. And has my machine really had a moment there? And then Palace v Burnley, Henderson, Lerma, Lacroix, Richards, Mitchell, Munoz, Wharton, Kamada, Sarr, Guessend and Strand Larsen. For Burnley, Dubravka, Worrell, Esteve, Lauren, Humphreys, Medjbury, Ukachukwu, Walker, Anthony, Edwards and Fleming. And then Villa v Brighton, Martinez, Matson, Mings, Konza. Bogard. I can't really see that down there now. I was catching up, so catch up in the chat. So FPL Spartans in, evening John. Windy's in, evening Windy. Craig's in, evening. Craig's off to the darts, apparently. Oh, it's obviously playing, not leaving for another 30 minutes. David Hughes is in. He says, feels like transfer time is properly upon us. Craig's got 35 transfers left. Wow, excellent going. FPL Sparta's in. Tim's in, evening Tim. And Windy says Wolves need to sign Kinder Bueno next. Very good, I like it. So, where were we? So Villa, catching this live. So Bogard, Louise, Onana, Rogers, Buendia, Sancho and Watkins, and then Brighton of Verbruggen, Kadioglu, Dunk, Van Heck is back, Veltman, Gross, Baleba, Hinshelwood, Mitoma, Welbeck and Gomez. So without further ado, where's my... let's have a look at, this is the fixture layout. So the Arsenal extra game that was rescheduled is a week today, away at Wolves. So they've got Brentford away tomorrow, Wolves away, then Tottenham away against a new manager on the 22nd. Then they have Chelsea and Brighton in early March. And then I've got a highlight around the 15th of March fixtures, because as we discussed previously, Arsenal against Everton and Liverpool against Tottenham are both unlikely to be on that Sunday. The reason being that both teams need to be at home in the Champions League the following midweek. So Arsenal have put a request in to have their match moved to the Saturday the 14th. And if that is so, they're going to have 6 fixtures between tomorrow and Saturday the 14th. And there'll be other teams who are going to have fixtures moved to Sunday the 15th. Most likely is going to be Fulham at Nottingham Forest, if Nottingham Forest get through in the Conference League, and Palace against Leeds, the same if Palace get through in, sorry, it's Forest in the Europa League and Palace in the Conference League. So all that leaves us is, where are we with Arsenal? Let's get this sheet up. Everything's going swimmingly earlier, and now it's going very, very slowly. Get this sheet in. So the crux of the matter, when this sheet eventually turns up, here we go. So this is from the planning spreadsheet, and this has been filtered down basically to Arsenal. And the one thing I wanted to highlight here is the actual ownership. So this is the percentage owned in the top 100. And the defence is currently owned at 240% between Raya, Timber, Gabriel and Saliba. So if you have 3 of these, you are already ahead of the crowd. If you only have 2 or fewer, you are behind. And my temptation originally was to bring in Raya, because you can't guarantee who's going to be playing a left fullback. It could be Lewis Skelly, unlikely, but Hincapi and Calafiori have been sharing minutes. Even Timber's played at left back, and we have had Ben White at right back. So I think those that are set to play are Raya, Timber, Gabriel and Saliba most weeks when you're going to want them to play in. And if you've got 3 of these guys already, you're already ahead of the curve. Some people will be buying players in this week, and that's part of why we're doing this show today. But even if you think the average percentage there is 60%, if you're going to captain one on the single game days, which people will, then you're only up to 300%, which is the same as if you've got 3. And if you've got 3 or more and you're going to captain one anyway, so you're up to 400 or 500% yourselves. So if you haven't got Timber, Gabriel or Saliba, I think it's a good move, especially if you're going to move somebody on to gain the 3 for 1. Fixture wise, we'll have a look at that in a bit further detail. So, with regards to the questions we had in, let me get those up on my phone. So we had 2 from CloudFF Loser, who said, for those who have banked above average transfers, it is now the time in the season to begin using them to make fixture games, in your opinion? Well, I think there's definitely a gain here to be had on Arsenal. The more difficult part is the hop-off point at the end, because even though Arsenal have these 2 single games coming up where they've got easy jump-on points, the difficulty is going to be the getting-off point. And as we suggested there with the March the 14th and the 15th, that could be it. But until that's confirmed, we don't know. Otherwise, Arsenal are playing on the Sundays after the 2 single game days coming up. So their game against Tottenham, Chelsea and currently Brighton are all on Sundays. and the Everton game. No, the Brighton game's in midweek, and then it's an Everton game that's scheduled for the Sunday. So they're the 6 games. So, yes, there are gains to be had, but I believe there'll be further gains as well. So if you've got above average transfers, and we'll have a look at the transfer count. Again, it came down this weekend. Yes, I think it's a good time. Which upcoming fixture runs have caught your eye to particular hoop on and off certain teams? Well, we need to wait a bit further and see what's being suggested after March before we can get that run. Otherwise, the teams that have got the run fixtures coming forward now are Wolves and Arsenal. So Arsenal's the obvious one. Nobody really wants a Wolves player. The teams that are going to have fixtures pushed back are Palace and Manchester City. And as you'll see with my plan, I've got a couple of those guys coming in, but their fixture will move and it'll move back, so you're not going to miss a fixture. It's just a case of whether you can get additional ones in between. Now, the other thing that I've been asked is whether it's a good idea to do Fernandes to a Arsenal forward or attacking player. The biggest question there, you're going to get a 3 for 0, but are you going to get the same player playing? Gyökeres is expensive, but he came off the bench and scored twice the other day. Havertz and Jesus have been playing. Saka is still out, but rumoured to be back soon. With the other guys that play in midfield on the wing, Trossard, Martinelli, you're never really sure who's going to play. I did have a look at a plan with Zubimendi, but he's good for the occasional tier. But if you have a look at the numbers per 90 on the screen there, Zubimendi's getting just under 55 passes per game, so he's not guaranteed to get a passing bonus every game. Not quite enough for tackles. It's definitely not on shots, so he might score. Declan Rice, another one. He's 55.5 on passes per 90, so he's not getting too many tiers. Saliba, he's the best, 71, so he's averaging 2. Gabriel, just under 54. Timber, nowhere near on passes, but is quite close on tackles. And then Raya, next to no saves either. So these guys, if we're going to bring them in, we're going to bring them in for clean sheets. The attacking guys, I'm not convinced that they're all there at all. So we'll have a look at further fixture runs as well. And then FPL Spartans asked, despite playing Burnley next, are the Chelsea assets expendable in order to get more Arsenal assets on Thursday and or a Palace player tonight? Well, yes, I think they are. And as we come to my team, which we're going to have a look at in a minute, I am going to be moving a Chelsea player on today. Okay, so let's have a look at the plan. And there was 2 here I had. So let's put this one up first. This was my plan to have Raya coming in. I was going to move Enzo to Semenyo today, and that might still be happening. I was going to move Roofs to Raya, and then next week I was going to move, quite strangely, Rice to Guéhi, and then Chalobah to Munoz, mainly for a captaincy against Wolves on the 22nd, and also for the captaincy against Tottenham on, I think it's the 5th of March, the Thursday standalone day. But this is what I'm going to go with instead, and I'm going to be moving out 2 Chelsea players today. I've decided that Arsenal I've got enough of. I'm going to bank on the 300% that I have, and then a captaincy to make it 400 is enough, and that the attacking points are spread around. Hopefully Declan Rice will get a few, you never know. So the moves I'm going to make are Chalobah to Munoz and Enzo to Semenyo. I wanted to do Enzo direct to Munoz in the Raya plan, but I was 0.1 short. If that had have worked, I might have gone with it, but as it doesn't, I think I'm going to go with this one. So Munoz is going to come in, got great fixtures this midweek and on the weekend, and he's got a single game day, and I think I'll have him captain twice, so that's a good move. And Semenyo, City look revitalised after that win at Anfield on Sunday. He's playing in an attacking role every game. Yeah, Palace and City will have a blank fixture at the end of March for the before the international break for the League Cup final. That fixture will come back in, and there might be a plan to move it somewhere else. So let's have a look back on the team. Click on there, should bring my team up. 2 ticks, peeps. While I'm waiting for this, news for those that didn't know, we now have Cloud Fantasy Football app on the App Store. Download it as you would normally. We are working on Android. That should be ready to go fairly soon as well. Mike's done some great work getting it actually through. Many hoops, but hopefully we'll encourage more people to play next year with an actual app. That seems to be something that people have asked for, so that's what we're going to do. So let's look at my team for week just gone. So Roofs in goal, just 1 point. Points across the back this week. So Timber, Chalobah, Saliba, Gabriel. Midfield, Rice, disappointing. Rodgers 9, Enzo 11, and captain Bruno Fernandes 26. And then up front, Haaland captain 24 and Thiago for 7. And we saw goodbye to Calvert-Lewin, who also got a captaincy return on Friday. So plans for this week are to do Chalobah and Enzo to Munoz and Semenyo. So I'm going to do that now live. Otherwise I can see what's going to happen. I'm not going to get it done. So Chalobah goes. Defenders. Probably need to search this by club. Munoz in. And then Enzo. Search this by club as well. Man City. Midfielders. Semenyo. There we go. Yeah, 0 in the banks, that's correct. And check captains. Still on Haaland captain. Adam Byram, as I said, had Palmer captain Saturday and yesterday. Is it too risky to go against Haaland? Yes, probably. But I'm hoping, hopefully, for some returns today. And then tomorrow, Gabriel captain with the 4 Arsenal and Thiago. And then next week, Gabriel captain with the 4 strong Arsenal lineup. Let's click on. I think I need some more internet out here. It's very slow today. Right, I'm going to check on my phone. We'll get the Liverpool lineup with any luck. Match centre. No, I don't think it's through yet. Okay, so we'll have a look at the leaderboard. You see my position there, 66th. So in joint 10th, Tony Davies with FT Lauderdale Strikers, Dennis O'Sullivan, Dilar, FPL Vincenzo's, Craig's in the chat, Vincenzo's Vinners, they're all on 2,043 points, well done. 8th, Walter Good with Wally Mandius Giants, 2,048. Lee Fricker, Superman, 2,048 as well, joint in 8th. Melvin Poole in 7th, 2,054 with Malvino's 11. Adam Byron with Teddy Marlowe, 2,061 in 6th. Alex Fortuna Muckledorf In fifth, 2000. Oh, so Adam's got 2061. Sorry, Alex with 2066. Aaron Smith with Bunnett, 2070. Joint third with Tim Barry, 124 for the week, 2070. JC Johnny Curry is in second, 122 for 2083. Then up at the top, Ryan Welsh with his arts and crafts, 159 points. Well done, Ryan. 2,101 points overall. So, still no Liverpool news. So I'm going to go back to where we were with the slides and have a look at some transfer counts. He says, oh dear me, amateur hour here. Right, I'll see if I can find the transfer accounts another way. Oh, here we go. Right, so that's the fixtures. So average transfers remaining. So this is from midweek. Did this before yesterday's games. So over the weekend, the top 10 had used another 10% of their allocation. So they're down to 15.7 now. The top 50 down to 21.12. Top 100 just under 22. And overall still 31.5 transfers left to be used. And who are the players that are scoring these points? So this is the team of the last 6 game weeks. So, and it is a 3-5-2 at the back. Raya in goal with Gabriel and Saliba along with Chow of Newcastle. Midfield, Chelsea, Palmer and Enzo. Somerville of West Ham. I think he scored 4 in 4 now. Bruno Guimaraes, back from injury, back in the scoring form for Newcastle. And Brendan Aronson still hanging on after his 24-pointer, I think, 4 or 5 weeks ago now. He's still hanging on in the last 6 game weeks. And up front, Thiago and João Pedro. So no Erling Haaland. I think that's the first time I've done one of these team of the weeks or team of the seasons and last weeks where Haaland hasn't been involved. John, thank you very much. So Liverpool line up: Alisson, Endo, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, McAllister, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo and Ekitike. And for Sunderland, Ruffs, Mukiele, Ballard, Alderete, Ronaldo, Diarra, Siddiqui, Hume, Lafay and Gulu and Brobby. Thanks for that, John. So let's have a look at the matchups that's still to come this week. So Villa against Brighton. Villa expected 1.62 goals, 31% chance for clean sheet. These are from Solio. So it's Rob T FPL, but Johnny Curry also working at Solio. Brighton 1.17 at 20%. So possibly a 2-1 Villa win. Brighton, I think, are winless in 12, something like that. Crystal Palace 1.84, 43%. Hopefully that comes true. Burnley 0.84 and 16%. Manchester City 2.34 and 39% chance. So hopefully Haaland, well, hopefully Semenyo does something, but I think he's fairly well owned as well. Have a look at that in a minute. Fulham 0.94 and 10%. Forest 1.70 and 40%. Wolves 0.92 and 18%. Sunderland 1.04 and 18%. Liverpool 1.72 and 35%. Then for tomorrow, Brentford 0.97 and 18%. Arsenal 1.73 and 38%. And then next Wednesday, Wolves 0.65 and 12%. And Arsenal 2.13 and 52%. Will this Excel load up again? Yes, it will. So I'm going to put these filters back onto all clubs now, and we can have a look at the overall points. So here we are, Erling Haaland back at the top. Let's get rid of that. We don't need to show that. Show tabs only. There we go. Yeah, 214 points for Haaland. Thiago in second place, 160. Semenyo in third on 155. These are the points per 90. So Haaland still well clear at 9.16. A few poking their nose a bit further down. Gabriel at 7.4. We can see Mateus Nunes there at 6.6. Ruben Diaz 6.74. Can expect him to be back in people's teams. Certainly when we come after March, when City will have the extra fixture. And another one there, Saliba 6.61. Let's have a look at the tier points. So Enzo now top of the shop here on 58. I think he got all three tiers yesterday. Van Heck, who's back in second with Anderson, they're on 56. Garner has moved up since we had last looked at this on 51. Rice and Dunk on 49. We'll have a look at the ownerships. So Haaland 97% owned now. Bruno Fernandes shooting up 91%. He was the most captained by a distance yesterday. Gabriel 85. Rodgers at 82. He's going well. Enzo 77. Oh, that'll be one less now. Chalobah 75. Another one less. Timber 74. Thiago 62. Semenyo 57. Then the two keepers, Raya and Ruffs. Saliba and Rice at 35 and Guéhi 28. So another one I was interested in buying, Guéhi. I think he'll go well as well. And then the rest are 17% and below. Have a look at the passes. So in the green for passing, Rodri, Tosin and Dunk. And in the orange, Curtis Jones, Saliba, Van Dijk, Ruben Diaz, Chalobah and Nico Gonzalez. Shots on target, nobody in the orange or green now. Haaland top of the shop at 2. Sesko at 1.9, that's a good finish last night. Then quite a few there, anywhere between Nemecha and Martinelli. Tackles, nobody in the green again. So in the orange, Palhinha, Ugarte, Florentino, Magassa and Igrabunum. And saves. Nobody there in orange or green either. So Dubravka, Areola, who's lost his slot, Trafford, quite a few there that aren't even playing. So Dubravka, Ruffs, Petrovic, Martinez and Pope in yellow. So not many keepers making a multitude of saves these days. So let's have a look at who scored the points this week. And then we shall let people get off, get a drink and watch their team play. So Friday night we had Leeds 3, Forest 1. Goal scorers were Bogle, Okafor, Calvert-Lewin. Tier 3s for Darlow, Goodmanson and Bogle. None for Forest. Manchester United 2, Tottenham 0. Goal scorers were Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes. Tier 3s for Martinez, Mainu and Casemiro. Vicario with that was just my alarm going off to remind me to do my transfers. Vicario with the saves for Tottenham. This Excel really is having a moment. Bournemouth won, Villa won. Goal scorers were Rayan and Rodgers. Tier 3's Jimenez for Bournemouth with the tackles, Martinez with the saves, and Dean with the tackles for Villa. Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0. Goal scorers were Zubamendi and 2 for Gyökeres. Tier 3's Oni Mukiele with the tackles for Sunderland. Fulham against Everton. There's 1-1, I think. 2-1 to Everton. Mikolenko with an own goal, Leno with an own goal, and Dewsbury Hall with a goal for Everton. Dear me. Tier 3's only for Anderson with the tackles, that was it. Burnley 0, West Ham 2, Somerville and Castellanos with the goals for West Ham. Hermanson with 5 saves for a Tier 3. Wolves 1, Chelsea 3. Arcadadore with the consolation goal for Wolves after a Palmer first half hat-trick, 2 penalties. Tier 3's Chalobah for Fofana. No, it is really giving up the ghost. Right, well, I think we'll leave it there, peeps. We've done the plan, we've done the Arsenal stuff, we've looked at the fixtures, looked at my plan. My machine is really having a moment. So I'll let everybody get off, go and watch the football. Hope your Arsenal players you've got do well over the next week, and we will be back a week on Friday. Hopefully I'll have given the mouse a bit of cheese and we can be a bit more productive. But in the meantime, if you've enjoyed the show, please give it a like. If you want to use the planner, you'll find that over on Patreon, patreon.com, Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. And we will see you next week. Cheers, everybody. Bye for now.